Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to an episode of Smart Minds, Good Times. Today, I have my teacher from trade school. Introduce yourself.
Jordan Baldwin here.
Jordan Baldwin.
Yes, sir. Yeah, teacher, electrician, DJ, all around the board.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah.
How long have you been doing electrical work?
Since 2014.
So,
9 years.
9 years, hell yeah.
9 years, yep. I started in November of 2014, so we're right at about to be 9 years.
Okay, wait, what were you doing before electrical?
Working at Walmart.
Walmart, how was that?
It was a Walmart.
Yeah, was it like in a nice area or was it like in the...
No, I worked at the one in Chester on Iron Bridge.
Uh-huh.
I worked there for 5 years. That was basically my first job out of high school. I worked at Kohl's for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I went to Walmart. I went to the one in Chester. Worked there for 4.5 years, overnight stocking. And during that time, that's when I was trying to get my DJing off the ground.
Okay.
And I was gung-ho about my DJing, but I wound up getting with lady friend. Thoughts started to change. And it wasn't picking up as fast as I wanted it to.
Okay.
So I started that in like 2011. And then probably by the end of 2013, I had started to like tail it back a little bit. I still would do gigs.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like all in like I was before.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally moved out in 2013. Moved out of my mom's house.
Okay.
And then wound up going to the other Walmart for 6 months. TLE, Tire Lube Express. Doing oil changes, tire changes. Did that for 5 years. Well, did that for 6 months. Worked at Walmart for 5 years. Then I got into the electrical trade. I had bought a piece of a shit car. I think I told you guys in class.
Yeah.
Remember. Bought a car for $3,000. It was just about all I had, and it was a lemon. It was a lemon, and it had electrical problems. People didn't want to work on it. It was just passing on the work. Finally got a guy, but even him, it wasn't worth it. So I told myself I was going to do it myself.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I wound up just looking online, wound up finding that I could go to school and get it paid for.
Yeah.
No, at first, let me walk back. I had looked online, found Richmond Technical Center. And I was like, I went to Richmond Public Schools, and I was like, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
That's a no-go. I went to Huguenot High School for a little bit. I went to Lucille Brown for a little bit. And I was like, I went to Richmond Public Schools. There's no way I'm going to go. And I'm paying out of pocket for that. So I was like.
Was it expensive?
I think at that time it might have been like $500 a year.
I mean,
maybe $500 a semester.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, it's not that much money. But
yeah.
Back then, shit, I was only making at Walmart maybe $10 an hour.
Yeah, well, $500 back then was actually a lot. Now it's not a lot. If that makes sense.
$500 is nothing now.
Yeah.
But I wound up calling different companies. That was part of CVCA, and just listening for how they represented themselves on the phone, and wound up getting on with Master Electric. Applied for them.
Oh, you work with them?
Yeah, I worked with Master.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, I worked with Master, and then worked there for 2.5 years. Then went to Cornerstone Electric for another 2.5 years. Then went to the city of Richmond as a maintenance electrician for almost 3 years. So just about between 2.5 and 3 years, and then now I'm teaching full time.
Yeah, you said full time?
Yeah, I teach kids now. That's what I'm teaching kids around your age.
Yeah. Oh wait, so you teach them electrical too?
Yeah.
Outside of Smgt?
Yeah, I teach in Henrico.
Oh shit, hell yeah.
Yeah, I teach 11th and 12th graders in the technical program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At the tech center, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I thought I told you guys that last year.
Maybe, but I always had headphones in. I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
No, but I would say like you were like one of the cool teachers. Yeah,
Well, I appreciate that.
yeah. Not like yes. Last year was your second year, right?
Last year was my second year teaching adults, so this is my third year.
Okay.
This is my first full year teaching kids. Because
Okay.
I came in October of last year to teach at Henrico.
Okay.
So I got in like 2 months after school had started. So I was like a little bit behind the 8 ball, but I was there for most of the school year.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's where I am right now. Right now, I'm just trying to invest.
Yeah.
Invest because I told you, like I was telling you on Tuesday or yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday, right? Yeah.
It was yesterday.
Yeah. What are you looking into investing?
Man, I invest in mutual funds.
Mutual funds, okay.
I invest in mutual funds because I don't have the time or the energy to try to like really sit there and look at the market, knowing what stock is doing what. And you got day traders, you got people who
I don't want to cut you off, but I think I had told you that's what I do. Remember?
Are you a day trader?
Yeah.
Did you tell me that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had told you last year.
Oh, maybe last year. Maybe.
Yeah.
I forgot last year.
It had been a while, but yeah, I've been doing that for like 2 years now, 2.5 years.
You gotta know what you're doing with that.
Oh yeah.
I thought about getting into my cousin. She had hit me up last year, and she was trying to get me to start doing options.
Okay, options. Okay, yeah.
Puts and calls, and I was like, that's risky business because when you invest in a stock by itself, you just lose. If you lose, you just lose 1x, right?
Yeah.
But if you invest in a put or a call and it goes bad, you can lose 2x, 5x, 10x.
Yes, but so because that's what I trade options, right? Mm-hmm. In options, you can only lose what you put in, right? But when you can lose more than what you put in if you're trading on margin. Margin is when you borrow the broker's money.
Right.
So you're borrowing the broker's money, and you lose more than what you originally put in of your own money. Then that's when you lose money.
So I got it understood.
Yeah, but you're right about it's risky because the most I've lost in a day is, take a guess, like in a day.
A G.
More.
5 G's.
Less.
3.
Yeah. 32.
Wow. That's a lot of money to lose.
But it's different. But like you get like so used to playing with like big numbers that it comes to a point where it's kind of like it's like a detachment because you just see numbers on the screen. You don't think about it as money. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, you can if you get lost in it that much. But I don't want my money to be losing.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, I wanted to do that because I knew there was one company that was going down.
There
was this company called MicroStrategy.
MicroStrategy. What do they do?
Shit. I can't remember what they do, but they invested heavily in Bitcoin.
Okay.
And Bitcoin was going down.
Okay.
So therefore, with their assets being backed up by Bitcoin, their value of their company is going to go down.
Yeah.
And my cousin, when she had hit me up about it, I was like, man, I got this one company that I might want to do something with, but I ain't had the money, and I ain't really had a want either. Okay, I probably could have came up with the money if I really wanted to, but that's like when you going into something new, you're a little risky.
Yeah.
A little iffy. But her girlfriend wound up investing in it.
Okay. How'd that go?
Or doing what I said, which was put a put on it.
Okay.
Because I knew it was going down.
Long term?
I didn't give her a term. I think she made up her own term. But they was just going down. I think they were, you could look it up now. I think they were at like 1,000. And they went down to like 400.
Really?
Per share, yeah.
Let me. I don't have the best service here, but let me check if I can check. MicroStrategy, right?
MicroStrategy, yeah. It's run by this guy named Michael Saylor. He a big advocate for Bitcoin.
Huh.
But at that time, when my cousin was trying to get me started with it, I think they were at they was already going down. I think they were at like 700, maybe 800, and they started going down. I think they went down to 600 and went down to 400. And I was like, man, I wish I had did that.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I see now. Hold on.
It was last year, but who knows what they are now?
They're at 326.
Yeah. So they didn't kind of like slow down their decline, but they still are declining, obviously.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, they were going down.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Have you seen like when stocks like people from Reddit and like a bunch of people get together and
I remember GameStop and AMC from, was that last year or 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, I remember that they pulled a short squeeze on the big what you call them things, the funds,
the hedge funds.
Hedge funds. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They did a short squeeze on them.
Yeah, and it was the dude that realized that was like he was just a normal dude. I think he made like YouTube videos and stuff, and he found out that like GameStop was like it was heavily shorted by hedge funds. When in reality, GameStop wasn't that bad to where the price was at. So he just kept buying. He told people to just keep buying. And eventually, do you know how like short squeeze works?
I understand the concept. I don't know it like to a T, but I know being that, and I think the hedge fund, going back to what we was talking about with the puts and the calls and being able to lose multiple X of your money, I guess the hedge funds probably invested in a put on margin.
Yeah.
So I know a put in the call, you could put term limits on it. So like I think the stock is going to go down to this number by this date. And if it doesn't, then, maybe, I don't know, you get some type of consolation, or you maybe get some of your money back, or I'm not sure exactly how that works.
Yeah.
But I know you could choose a date and choose an amount. And they, from my understanding, brought the price up when the hedge fund wanted to go down, but they're buying it so that it's going up. So it's squeezing them to where they have to pay money to the creditor who gave them money on margin.
Yeah.
And they have to keep on paying. And to the point where I think Robinhood had shut all purchases down of GameStop and AMC to protect the hedge funds, because Robinhood is a free investment app. So why is it free? It's because I believe the hedge funds are paying or giving money to Robinhood to give them stats on what's being invested in and what's not being invested in.
Yeah, they know what you're doing before you even do it.
Right. So that's why they, I guess you could say, were allowed to do that, but that's why they did that, was to protect the people who were paying them.
And you know what? Because when they did that short squeeze, they were losing money both ways, because they were losing money during it was going up. And then when they do close a position, because it was a put, they have to sell. So in order to close a sell, you have to buy. So once they close it, they're also buying.
They gotta buy something that's going up.
Yeah.
Right.
So either way, it was gonna go up more.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know it a little bit better than I do, but I do understand the concept. But that I do mutual funds.
Okay.
Mutual funds, and I don't invest in American companies. I've done a lot of. We talked yesterday. I was telling this lady that I work with, real older lady. She's almost 80 probably, and ever since like the end of 2019, I've really just like hunkered down and started to like try to educate myself about money.
Yeah.
And the economy. And I listen to this guy, Peter Schiff. I listen to a lot of people, but Peter Schiff is a big one. He actually was on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Okay, I need to watch that episode.
Yeah, he's been on there at least 2 times, but I believe 3 times. And he actually had a sort of a big little riff with Joe Rogan, because Peter Schiff is very outspoken about how he feels about the economy, which from my perspective I agree with. But like I said, I've been listening to a lot of stuff about money, and I know when I was a kid, a lollipop was 25 cents. A bag of chips was 25 cents. And a bag of chips is smaller now, less chips in it, and it's like 59 cents, I believe, if you buy it with the marking, the price on the bag. Now, what the store sells it for is what the store sells it for, but the price on the bag, 59 cents. So you're talking about over 100% price increase. And I was a kid, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
16, 17 years ago. That's not that much time to double price.
Yeah.
So if the money is losing value that quick, I'm realizing it. I had moved out. I told you I moved out in 2013. And I wound up getting another apartment. I stayed in multiple apartments. And one time I was down on my luck. That fucking golf that I bought.
Yeah.
It took a shit on me again, and I had to dig into my savings. I didn't have that much savings. I probably had a little over $1,000.
Damn.
I ain't have much. And I was like, man, I'm struggling, sitting here saving money, and as soon as something happens, that money's gone again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, imagine if something else happens, I'm fucked again. I need to figure out a way to have my money work for me. So that's when I decided. I knew at that point in time I couldn't just go out and invest in anything because I ain't had the expertise. I don't know what I'm doing. But I decided to go ahead and educate myself on money.
Yeah.
And in that quest, I started listening to podcasts. Peter Schiff, like I said, is one main one that sticks out in my mind. And that's when I realized when we don't have control of the money, money is supposed to be another good, right?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be controlled by some entity. Gold came about because that was the consensus best money out there. Back in the day, long time ago, they used to trade in shells and fucking goats, and I give you a goat, barter system. And then eventually we realized the best way to trade is to trade with gold, because even if I don't need gold, someone else needs it.
Yeah.
Sort of like cigarettes in prison. Right?
Yeah, it's more valuable because of the environments and right.
Right. Even though if we're all in prison, even though I don't smoke, I can trade my pack of cigarettes for however many fucking things of noodles you have, because maybe you smoke, or you may be able to take that and trade it for something else.
Yeah.
That's how gold kind of became the thing, because gold doesn't tarnish, it doesn't expire.
Yeah. It holds, I guess in that case it holds its physical value.
Yes, it holds its physical value versus like a goat. A goat is good, back in the whatever times when there wasn't much going on and cattle was a lot more valuable. But a goat can die. A goat can get sick.
Yeah.
Things can happen to, say in today's time, wheat, crops. If you want to trade in crops, that stuff dies. Gold doesn't. So it became the thing. It became the thing to trade in, and then the government kind of flipped it on its head and made it into a currency. And they have control of the currency.
Yep. So
that's taking our power away, our purchasing power. And when I really started thinking about it, I was like, man, this is really diabolical. Like to know that someone or some entity is basically keeping me enslaved. It's keeping me on a hamster wheel.
Yep.
If you don't pay attention to it, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like you don't even realize that there's this hand. This invisible hand that's like just taking your money away. They may not be taking it through taxes, but they're taking it away through what you can buy with your money.
Because one thing they do with I guess like if we pay with only physical money like cash and coins, they don't really get anything from that. They can't even trace that. But when they pay in credit cards and debit cards, you gotta think about it, right? Mm-hmm. They're good. All that money's gonna come back to them in either way, because they'll get interest, like interest from the debit card purchase you did, to like the machines at the stores and stuff. They get money there. Then you go spend money somewhere else. That money will always find its way back to the bank.
And you could, like you said, you could trace it. You could track what's being purchased.
Yeah.
It's a paper trail. There's no paper trail with cash. But, you know, that's what that's what I was on. That's what I started to figure out. And I just had to realize, like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
I got to do something to, like, protect myself against that, because that's a bleak outcome.
Yeah.
And we just hit, the United States just hit $33 trillion
In debt, right?
in debt, like a few days ago.
And I think the credit card debt is also the highest it's ever been, too.
Oh yeah, credit card debt is out of control. Everything's out of fucking control.
Yeah.
But people know this, and there's a something is gonna be. I call it the Great Reset. Some shit is gonna happen where something's gonna tip the scales, and everything is just gonna fucking just go to shit. And people, we know that things are changed from before, but we don't realize how close we are to the cliff.
Yeah.
As a whole, America doesn't realize how close we are to the cliff. Things have gotten better. Certain things have gotten better. Obviously, sitting here, technology, we're sitting here talking on the mic.
Yeah.
And going to be having this out on a video soon. But, that wasn't a thing 25 years ago. Technology has gotten better, but our purchasing power has lost. I worked at Walmart, like I said, stocking shelves, and I remember I didn't know what it was at the time. I wasn't knowledgeable, but I remember stocking the cake mixes on the shelf, and I got some on the shelf. Got this new case that I'm about to put on the shelf. In the new case, the boxes are smaller.
Same price though, right?
Same price.
Yep.
And people realize it, they see it, but companies don't change the price, because people, that's a psychological thing. That price is locked in their head, and you just go ahead and up the price. So they keep the price the same, but they just change the amount.
Yep.
It makes it easier. Makes it an easier transition. Even sugar, like all that shit. I remember, and then once I started educating myself on the money, I realized, wow, that's what was going on. The sugar used to come in 5-pound bags.
Yeah.
That was 4-pound bags. It's all that stuff. Everything is just getting smaller, and you're paying the same price. And then, like, America, everybody knows America. Everyone wants to come to America.
Oh, yeah.
Even still to this day, people want to come to America. But it was only because we had the best economy. We had the most economic freedom. And then over time, it's just been taken away. So I just, I've been investing in, like I said, mutual funds, but not mutual funds that are based in the U.S.
Okay. Like foreign?
Yeah, foreign.
What? So I don't know too much about mutual funds. I get the idea of it, but what backs a mutual fund? Does it backed by a stock market, or?
A mutual fund is just a collection of different companies.
Okay.
So, from my understanding, it's no different than the S&P 500 or Dow.
So like an index fund?
They call those index funds, but I think they only call them index funds because they're on the TV screen. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong about that. But a mutual fund is just a collection of companies, and it's chosen by this company that I've been entrusting my money with. It's actually Peter Schiff's company.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Euro Pacific Capital is the name of it, and they have five funds that I've been investing in. It's a bond fund. It's a gold stock fund where you're investing in the mining companies. So companies that are mining gold, mining copper, mining silver, precious metals, things like that. You got an international value fund and a dividend payers fund. So the bond fund doesn't pay any dividends, but and I have an emerging markets fund too. So a lot of that is like in Asia.
Okay. You say emerging or merging?
Emerging.
Okay.
Emerging markets. So they call, how they call like third world countries, first world countries. Obviously America is considered a first world. So it's I think it's a term that's not emerging markets, but I can't think of the name of it. So emerging markets are more like companies in countries that are not considered first world, but they are emerging for it.
Okay.
A better term.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, and they pay dividends. So they pay me. That's the big difference between the mutual funds that I'm invested in versus like a lot of American companies, which I realized after a long time. I bought a Starbucks stock in like 2013, like when I first moved out.
Okay.
And I didn't wind up selling it until 2020, 2021 when the pandemic hit.
Before or after COVID? Like
COVID had already hit.
Was it when the market was coming up again or right at the bottom?
I was waiting for it. I wanted it to go up.
Oh, you sold at the bottom.
No, I didn't sell. No.
Oh.
I bought it for like back in 2013, like $30 a share. And I was trying to triple my money. I was trying to wait till it got to $90 a share.
Yep.
And it was taking too damn long. And I was like, I feel like it's just gonna go right back down because I'm anticipating a crash, you know. So I sold it for less than 3x, but definitely more than 2x. It was somewhere between that.
At least you sold. Some people, at least you took profit. Some people get greedy and then sell it for nothing.
Yeah, I sold that. I had bought some Amazon. I doubled my money on that. I bought 1 or 2 shares when it was at like $1,700 a share. Now it's split. I think Amazon is split. But I bought it at like $1,700 and wound up doubling my money in like a short period of time for doubling your money. Yeah, it was probably a year. I don't think it was even 2 years.
Yeah, because after that split, it went higher.
Well, so the split, I sold before the split.
Oh, you sold before the split. I think right when the split happened, it went higher because more people. I guess to normal people, they're like, "Oh, Amazon's cheaper." So they feel more comfortable buying. In reality, it's the same value. It's just more shares out there.
Right. So I don't. So I was saying all that to say, like I realized that you don't make money until you sell the company. But if you believe in a company, why are you selling the company? True. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if the company's not paying you, why are you buying it in the first place?
Yeah.
So I was like, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. If I believe in a company, or if I believe in the strategy that's there, they need to pay me while they have my money. I don't need to buy it. I don't need to sell it. I shouldn't have to sell it to make money. If you start up an electrical contractor, you don't want to start it up to sell it. Well, granted, that's a lot of the business world today is starting a company up so you can sell it. Jay-Z does that shit a lot. But even if that is the goal, you plan on making money while you have it. Yeah. With the stock market today, you're buying companies, you buy them long to sell them after 20 years. But if it's a good company and you can make money with them all these years, why sell?
Yeah, that's why I like dividend stocks. Like
that's what it is.
Like the main dividend stocks is Coke, Pepsi, AT&T.
See, that's Warren Buffett.
Yeah, and it's like because most companies like Apple, Amazon, Google, they put that money
FANG
back
stocks.
into the company.
Yeah, FANG stocks.
Yeah, so they put it back into the company, but investors should know that they're not dividend stocks. They're gonna put their money back into the company, reinvest.
I think they call them growth stocks. They call them growth stocks, and then the other stocks, like you just said, Coca-Cola, dividend paying stocks. That's what I'm for. Yeah, that's what I'm for.
I always said if I were to win the lottery, I would just put it in dividend stocks, Coke, Pepsi, AT&T, live off of that. I think they're right about like 5%, and it's quarterly dividends.
Quarterly, yeah. So I'm learning that. So I started buying these mutual funds like 2020 when COVID hit. And I'm learning that it's quarterly dividends. They pay quarterly. So I want to get to the point where I'm making a good amount of money quarterly off of them. But I still got more time.
You know what I heard?
I hope I do.
Yeah, hopefully. You never know nowadays.
You don't know.
Anything could happen. But one thing I've seen is like, in order to make like $45,000 a year in dividends alone, you would need to invest like around $1 million.
$45,000 a year that's good passive income, but $1 million is a lot of money to have invested. When people say they want to invest money into the stock market, I always ask them this because it's like they say like
oh, I have $1,000. I'm investing in the stock market, and I asked him, I'm like, look, how much do you think that $1,000 is gonna be worth 5, 10 years from now? Let's just say 10 years from now. How, like, if you were to put $1,000 in the stock market, actually, you know a little bit, right? But like somebody else would be like, oh, it will probably be like 15,000 by then. I was like, that's so unrealistic. That's a 1,500% return.
Yeah.
If that was realistic, everybody would do that.
Yeah.
At the most, in 10 years, that $1,000 maybe 3,500, maybe, and that's still a lot. That's 350%.
Yeah.
That's still like kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
And that's if it's a actual stock. But if it's like a index fund like SPY, it'll probably be like at 2,500, maybe.
And that's the thing. But so the reason why I'm investing the way I'm investing is because with me anticipating that America is going to eventually, that great reset that I was talking about,
Yeah.
when that eventually happens, that actually brings the value of the things that I'm invested in way higher.
Yeah.
Because you know about currencies are like, they're weighted against each other.
Uh-huh.
So with the dollar being so high, a lot of those other currencies are lower.
Yeah.
But once the dollar goes down, these are going to be higher. So
Yep.
they're gonna be worth more. They give out more dividends. It's going to force people to realize that the dollar is not worth anything, and then they're going to start wanting to go back to gold.
Have you seen? Oh, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
you seen
you're good.
BRICS, like all the 30
Yeah.
countries getting together and doing that?
Yeah, they're trying to get a gold backed currency.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm investing the way I'm investing. You know, I'm getting a small dividend right now, but I just bought some more. What's today? I just bought some more on Tuesday.
Okay. Do you plan on reinvesting your dividends or kind of?
That's what I've been doing.
Okay, just letting it compound?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just reinvesting them. I'm not taking it. I'm not making enough to be like, oh yeah, I made this dividend.
Yeah.
I'm a pocket this.
Uh-huh.
No, I just put it back in.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, me personally, I don't think I would ever I would invest if I had like $100,000 sitting where I could let that sit. I would invest then because I feel like anything less than that, the growth would be too slow. When I could use that 100,000 to make money like quicker. Like I can make, let's just say, I put $100,000. I'm looking to get 10%. It might take me 2 years, right? Maybe 2 years, something like that, right? In reality, with $100,000, you can go get that 10% way quicker. Let's just say I don't know, starting a company or even just a little like side job or do electrical work. I'll go spend 10 grand on tools and wire and everything, and I'll go make that money back in the summer. I don't know.
It's true, but so I think I might have told you yesterday. I'm listening to this book, Richest Man in Babylon.
I think you did tell me.
So yes, but the trick is if you listen to that book, if you listen to Rich Dad Poor Dad, the trick is to always have your money working for you. If you always got to be there to make the money, you always be poor. So,
Yeah.
like, in Richest Man in Babylon, true wealth doesn't come fast anyway.
Uh-huh.
Like, it can come relatively fast compared to someone else, depending on the circumstances, whatever. But you have to learn how to, and this is what I've realized, you got to learn how to live where you are to be able to appreciate what's to come and the gain that you'll have in the future.
Okay.
But if you get it fast, you may not appreciate it, and then you may blow it on a venture like you were just talking about where you may not have the expertise. So that's what Richest Man in Babylon talks about. It talks about saving money. That's the first thing. You got to save money. Then you got to invest money into something that's going to allow it to work for you. The money's going to work for you. You got to take advice from people who are worth taking advice from.
Yeah.
Right? And don't get caught up in these grand schemes of like these get rich quick schemes, right?
Yep. Pyramid schemes and stuff.
Yeah, I invested in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, this guy named Jay Morrison. He actually was on the Breakfast Club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got on the Breakfast Club, and come to find out, he was like a complete fraud.
Yeah.
He made his way all the way up to the Breakfast Club, and they were upset because they didn't realize that he was.
Okay.
And just that little bit of time, he was able to build up enough following that he started up this whole other SEC allocation where it's not just a REIT, a real estate trust.
Yeah.
He made like this whole other thing where it is governed by different rules. So he was able to, I guess, get some loophole done where he can take your money, but you can't get your money out.
Huh.
And I ain't put that much in there. I think I put a G in there. It wasn't much. This was some years ago. But that's going to the whole concept of, knowing who to trust with your money. Like Richest Man in Babylon is this the book is actually a good book. I actually like this book.
Have you finished it?
I'm about 4/5 of the way done.
Oh, can you get it like at Barnes and Noble?
I'm just listening to it on YouTube.
Okay.
But I actually think I like it more than Rich Dad Poor Dad. Rich Dad Poor Dad is I feel like a way more well-known book.
Yeah, it's very generic, like mainstream, I guess.
Yeah, but I like the way Richest Man in Babylon is written. It's kind of written in a sense like the Bible. Like it's kind of got that old English, like thou, thee, but it's not written in a way that you can't understand what's being said. It's very easy to follow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm saying that because I've kind of grown up in the church and I learned a little bit of that language, but I was, nothing crazy. But
yeah,
it's told in a story form and sort of like a Disney tale.
Okay.
Because these stories aren't true. Rich Dad Poor Dad is more of a biographical kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where this one is not. So like Rich Dad Poor Dad, I guess in my opinion, it holds true what he's saying in the book, but it's through his eyes, even though Richest Man in Babylon is also through the author's eyes as well, but it could be perceived that it's more virtue in the fable than the Bible. I don't know.
Is it kind of like a third person type of thing?
Richest
Man of Babylon?
No, it's all fables.
Okay.
But it sounds like something that really could have happened during that time because these are old times. It was like, I guess you could say like, I don't think it's medieval. I don't think it's that old. Well, no, because medieval was the 1400s, right?
I think so.
Something so I guess it's before that. It's before medieval because it's like it sounds like biblical times.
Okay.
That's what it kind of.
How'd you find out about that book?
Man, I don't know. I listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad. Then I listened to The Magic of Thinking Big, and then like, how YouTube is. It just starts suggesting things.
Yeah.
And I heard Richest Man in Babylon, mentioned before, just, in my travels. And then I decided to just listen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've heard multiple people talk about it, but I just decided to listen. It's actually, I don't know. I just like it.
Yeah.
I just looked it up today. The book is almost 100 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Richest Man in Babylon was written in, I think, published in 1926 or something like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
You think maybe it's too old for it to keep up with today's world, or it's just the
crazy thing is the shit sounds just like it don't sound no. That's why I actually thought it was written like in the 80s.
Oh shit!
As I was listening to it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just checked it today. I've been meaning to check to see when it was written. It was written in 1926 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and he was saying, like, man, nothing's new under the sun. People go into debt. These stories are talking about guys that went into debt, but they didn't go into debt with dollars. They went into debt with silver and copper and gold. I don't think he mentioned gold, but silver and copper.
So you're saying they went into debt buying silver and copper, gold?
No,
or
that was their currency. That was their money.
Okay.
So he the character in the book, he borrowed some money. He borrowed some silver, borrowed some copper, and didn't pay it back. So he owed.
Okay.
Yeah, and the concept don't change. People still do the same shit today. They borrow money, don't pay back, and they find themselves in financial ruin.
Except nowadays, the interest eats you up a lot more than back then. I'm guessing, right?
Well, they had interest back then. But the thing that makes our situation a little bit more fucked up is because with interest rates, and then on top of interest rates is inflation.
Yeah.
So it's different because, so going back to the difference between currency and money or gold, this is getting inflated way more. Now, gold, they mine gold and find more gold, but the rate that they find more gold is like, it's not nowhere near as much as the money that's being created with the currency.
Yeah.
So with the gold, they add a little bit more supply of gold, but as time goes on, the economy gets better. Things become more efficient, and it actually helps with making, how could I say this? It just makes the economy, I guess, function better in a sense where you're not trying to split up, this much, to that much amount of gold.
One thing, I'm pretty sure, right? When the economy is doing good, gold is pretty slow. It's pretty stable, right? But like, what was it like this past year when the stock market was dropping? I seen gold was doing pretty good. Also, what's it called? Treasury funds is
Treasury funds,
yeah, where you pay like there's like the 10-year, 30 year,
30 year, 5 year.
The yields were pretty high on those too, because I guess people they didn't want to
be relatively high compared to what they've been, but they're still not where they should be.
Yeah, I don't remember what they were at.
5%.
Yeah, 5%, right?
Which ain't much. So you earning 5% over 30 years?
Yeah, that's still not a lot.
It's not a lot.
Anything about nowadays, I guess. Like you were saying earlier, like you were investing to try to make money. Nowadays, even if you can like have your money hold the same value against inflation, that's even good.
So with that being said, I did buy some gold and silver for that very purpose.
Physical or in the fund?
Physical.
Okay.
Physical. So that when money, goes to shit, I actually have something that, as the amount of money increases, the value of the metals are on par with the amount of money that's.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've bought gold and silver as well. But yeah, it's all in an effort to try to because they just, like I said, they went to 33 trillion a few days ago, but it just hit 32 trillion 3 months ago.
Damn.
So they've added $1 trillion worth of debt in 3 months.
Yeah.
And each one of us are responsible, I think, for like 250,000 American citizens.
Damn.
250,000 each of that 33 trillion.
One thing I heard, what was I about to say? It was I think Americans now are, I think, $700 away from emergency payment to be like completely broke, something like that.
Yeah, they said most Americans can't afford a $500 emergency. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's true. It's true. It's so sad. Like, it's so sad. It's so sad. It really is so sad. And then like the $33 trillion, that's just, they call it funded liabilities. But there's still a whole bunch more trillions of unfunded liabilities, which is Social Security.
Okay.
Medicare, I think Medicaid. I think those are all unfunded liabilities.
I don't mean to cut you off, but do you hear the airplanes and stuff in the headphones?
Oh, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, it sounds crazy.
Cause I can hear the airplanes so clearly.
Is that Is that an airplane?
Yeah, but it's like it's not even loud.
Oh, okay. I can hear it in the headphones. Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe it's the frequency.
Yeah.
Frequency.
Like you're saying.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. I don't know.
Well, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin? Because it's kind of I don't really personally like it. Never really paid too much mind to it.
I think Bitcoin is a great attempt to try to get out from the very thing that I just was talking about with inflation.
Replicate gold.
But it can't replicate gold because it has no intrinsic value.
Yeah.
It has no use. Now, with that being said, the technology of Bitcoin, the blockchain,
Yeah.
that is what's valuable.
Uh-huh.
That's what's valuable. But people, you know, Bitcoin went from 1 cent to it's at 27,000 right now. If you made a lot of money off of that, it'll be hard for someone to tell you that you're wrong.
Yeah.
You know, if you made that much money, if you put $1 million at 1 cent per Bitcoin and you sold now,
Yeah, you're probably
set for generations.
Uh-huh.
You know, so it's hard for someone to tell you that Bitcoin ain't worth shit. But I mean, in its true essence, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, but that technology is great because going back to what we were talking about with gold, and I know I'm getting a lot of what I'm saying right from Peter Schiff, but because I listen to him so much, but that gold, gold you couldn't really. I'm not gonna say you couldn't, but say you wanted to. Well, that's why they had gold coins, they had silver coins, and copper coins, so that you can kind of devise up the different values because a gold may be worth $10, but you don't want to give someone $10.
Yeah,
you may only want to give them $1. So but if you have that blockchain to where you have that person, it's called peer-to-peer, I think is what it's called, peer-to-peer technology. I give you a piece of my gold through blockchain.
Yeah.
And I got a gold bar, in storage somewhere, and it takes, a nth amount to pay you for what I'm paying you for, and you take it, and there's a receipt on the blockchain that I gave you this amount of gold. But the thing about blockchain is
decentralized,
government,
right?
Yes, the government can't get in there,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. So it's all types of feet being dug in, heels being dug in, so that shit don't come to pass. And like I was talking to a lady with the same lady I was talking about that I work with.
Yeah.
We was talking about school choice.
School choice.
So that is like you pay taxes right now. You just turned 18, right?
Yeah.
I pay taxes. My man here pays taxes, but you don't have any kids, do you?
No dependents.
I don't have any kids. You got any kids? But part of our tax dollars is going to schools. Right. So we're not really benefiting from it. And I've learned a little bit about taxes. I don't know that well. But I know that a tax is supposed to benefit all. And I guess that's the argument, is that if you don't have kids, or say you do have kids, but you send your kids to private school, you're not benefiting from the money that you're putting in. So the thought process is, if I'm paying taxes, I take those tax dollars and I wind up using it for what type of school I want to send my kids to.
Okay, that makes sense.
So say, it equates to $800 a month. I take that $800 and put it towards keeping in public school if I want my kids to go to public school.
Yeah.
Put it in private school of my choice, or I put it towards like a homeschool. So that's what it's called, school choice. Arizona, I'm almost certain, 100% certain that they've already passed school choice in Arizona.
Okay, that's
so that kind of is the same vein, I guess, as the money, where you're starting to decentralize education.
Yeah.
Because education, people gripe about education all the time and how it's hard to compare it to anything because it's got such a big monopoly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you introduce that's going to start breaking down those walls, where people will start being like, man, this may not be all it's cracked up to be. I may want to do like homeschool. I remember I looked at a podcast. It was actually a
Patrick Bet David.
Yeah, Patrick Bet David podcast with a lady who was a advocate for, I believe it's PBD, who was an advocate for um, private school, not private school, but homeschool.
Yeah.
And you know, the biggest detractor that people come up with is the lack of social,
Like interactions.
social interactions
Yeah.
with homeschool versus public school. And she was arguing. She was like, the thing that people don't realize is a lot of homeschoolers, they don't have to sit in class for 8 fucking hours, because the whole reason why school is 8 hours in the first place is to line up with the work day.
Of the parents, right?
Right.
That makes sense.
I work in education now. A lot of what we do, I remember when I first started, I was like, yo, it took me some getting used to, because I was like, you know, teaching adults is way different.
Yeah.
We go in there for 3 hours,
And
that's it. I don't have to deal with no behavior problems. You guys want to be there, somewhat, but even if you don't want to be there, it's not like a behavior issue.
Yeah.
Right. With the kids, they're kind of forced to be there. It's a lot of it's so much like making things look good, but going back to what I was saying, it was like, oh shit, like a big part of what I'm doing. I always wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah. Okay.
And funny enough, I didn't, you know, as my adult life started, I didn't think I kind of would become a teacher.
Okay.
Just how things happen. I always wanted to be a DJ. Never thought I would become a DJ. But when I started, you know, teaching the kids, I was like, yo, a lot of what I'm doing is babysitting.
Basically, yeah.
You know, like, I'm not here just teaching because, for one, these are kids. Some of them really don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, then it's not a pay to play. You know what I mean? That's the thing about, you know, I guess free markets and things. You're paying for what you want. And now the service, you may not get what you want depending on how honorable the person that's giving you that, you know, selling that service to you or their product to you.
Yeah.
But it's a voluntary kind of situation. With school, it's different, you know. So if they introduce that school choice into it, it now levels the playing field to where people get to choose what they want to do. But going back to the homeschool situation, she was saying they don't spend no 8 hours, you know, in class. You may spend 3, 4, 5 hours, even if it's 6 hours.
Yeah.
But you got other time that you could take your kid or the kid that you're teaching, you know, other places. Yeah. And they can have social interactions that way.
But, you know, I get that side, because that's one reason why I would want to send my kid to private school, or maybe even homeschool, but that's very, like, I wouldn't do that. Maybe private school, just because I don't see the world getting any better. But at the same time, school is also, like, real life. So they get, like, real life, real world experiences there, how to deal with people.
Very true. Very true.
Because, you know, it's like you get put in the group of 1,000 people in a class. That's like being out in public with 1,000 people in a mall. You'd be like, okay, this dude's acting a little weird, or I don't. And at the same time, you kind of get comfortable talking to people.
It's true. It's you know, it's a give and take, but the other side of it is, and she was putting this, you know, the stats forward that homeschool kids typically are way more advanced academically than, you know, public school kids, because they're getting that one-on-one.
Yeah.
And also with homeschool, and this is what I want to do, you know, eventually with my future kids, I would love to homeschool them, because you're instilling your values into them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not the teachers.
Yeah. You know, if I have a kid, I want to be able to instill my values into them. Not what, you know, the teachers are talking about.
Yep.
You know, who the fuck knows what the teachers are talking about, you know? So, like, that's where I'm at with it, you know, and they wouldn't have to be subject to some of the crazy shit that they see in school.
Yeah,
you know?
Especially nowadays.
Yeah. It's some shit. I remember when I first started last year, it was a eye opener. I haven't been inside a school since my 12th grade year. You know, I haven't had a reason to be inside of a school.
Yeah.
And the standards that have changed, just hats. Like, we couldn't wear hats when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Hats, hoods, girls with some of the shit that they wear. I was like,
oh yeah,
how did you get out of the house like that? Now, granted, there may be some of them that are changing after they leave, but I know that's not the case with all of them.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are walking out of the house with some of the shit that they got on.
Yeah.
I remember last year, this one girl, she had a tank top on. It was like a midriff tank top, right?
Yeah.
And she had big chest. This is a young girl, so keep it PG with the young girls. But, you know, and all cleavage. I'm like, how did you get out the house like that? And now, granted, she didn't come to. So I teach at the I teach at the old Highland Springs High School.
Okay.
Where we at?
Yeah.
There's a new Highland Springs High School right beside it. She was walking through the old Highland Springs campus to get to the new Highland Springs. So I don't know what came of her wearing that to school, but the fact that she felt it was okay and it was pretty deep in the school year.
Yeah, but
she probably got away with it.
Yeah, and you know, it's like, I mean, but to girls and kids nowadays, what they see on social media is like, for a girl will be like, this is what draws male attention, and that's what they see on TikTok and social media, Netflix shows nowadays. I mean, that's normal to them, or that's what they want to do.
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
you can choose a lot more compared to when I was a kid. The possibilities are endless of what you can start looking at with social media and all the different apps and YouTube. When I was a kid, YouTube had just became a thing in like 06, 07. I remember looking back on it, it's crazy because I was in that wave of kids that was looking at YouTube when it was like first budding. Like I remember Soulja Boy when he, like Soulja Boy really was like when he went on the Breakfast Club a few years ago. Like he really was
the first,
like big on YouTube.
Yeah,
like he really was. He wasn't like lying. It was funny. It was funny because the way he was saying it, but it was true.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I knew the songs. The Soldier Crank That. That song was big. Like 2 years before, we knew that song like 2 years before it became big in America.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah. I mean, it got big. I think in like I guess if YouTube started in like 2006, I think his shit came out in 2006, and then it got big. The song got big in like 08, 07, something like that. It was way later than when we first. I was like, yo, this shit's old. But anyway, when I was a kid, like we had to watch what was on TV.
You were limited to what you can.
Limited, right? You have movies out there, but the amount of content that's out there is so far and wide that a kid can really get deep into anything. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure there was books when I was a kid that could have gone crazy, but who the fuck was reading books?
Yeah.
Nobody was reading books, right? But today, kids I think they're more knowledgeable about a lot of shit than I was when I was their age.
Yeah.
Now, certain things they're not knowledgeable of just because they're still young.
Like
life experience shit. They're but like certain things, they know the stuff because they have access to the information. We're in the information age.
And I feel like nowadays it's like really up to you how you want to, because it's kind of like a little power you hold, right? It's up to you what you want to do with it. Because if you want to be use it to learn something that you can use in the real world, that'll be good. But you can also do social media to watch stupid videos all day, and you know what I mean. It really depends on how you want to use it.
Right? Yeah. That's with anything.
Yeah.
That's with anything. You could choose to use something for good or for bad, just like a weapon. You could use it to defend yourself, or you could use it to cause destruction.
Yeah. Like I come back to something you said earlier when you said like the homeschooling. You said how like the homeschool kids tend to be more academically advanced. I 100% get that. But don't you think this is something I realized is like, because I know a lot of smart people. Let's just say like in the one example I'll give you, when I went to Tech Center, Chesterfield Tech Center, there was I didn't know anything about the electrical because I wouldn't pay attention to class, right? But all the other kids that were like knew the whole book and like they did really good and stuff like that, academically wise, book wise, when it was interview day, those people are like kind of awkward to talk to. They weren't. It's like I feel like in the world, you need to have real life experience in order to get farther.
Yeah, I mean,
I talked my way through a job. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Those are skills, whether it be academic, whether it be interpersonal, whether it be work ethic, whatever the case may be. More than likely, you're not going to have someone, that young that's going to have all of them.
Yeah.
So, granted, with that stat, there's other things that could be accounted for that, may have not been accounted for in the study or the stats or whatever. But when you look at it strictly academically, there's issues. Now, going back to that, the homeschool thing, it doesn't have to be. So, actually, one of the guys that teach with me, we had a conversation about this a couple weeks ago, where, like at his church, there's a lot of people who I guess homeschool their kids, and they kind of get together.
All the parents and kids?
Yeah, parents and kids get together. So now you have that social time.
Yeah.
And then like you can have a situation where, like going back to what I was saying, where I listened to a bunch of podcasts. I listened to the Tom Woods podcast, and he has some like, it's called the Ron Paul curriculum. You know who Ron Paul is?
I don't.
He ran for president in 2008 against Obama, but as a libertarian.
Oh, as a libertarian, okay.
Right, so not going to get that many votes.
That's probably why he wasn't. That's why Mitt Romney was running against him in 2008, right?
Mitt Romney, I can't remember if it was Mitt Romney or what's the guy that died in Arizona? I can't think of.
Is it Nancy Pelosi's husband? No, right?
No. McCain, John McCain.
Okay, maybe I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think it's John McCain. I know it's McCain. I can't remember. I think it is John though. John McCain. I think John McCain ran against him in the first in 2008, and I think Mitt Romney ran against him in 2012.
Okay, yeah.
Ron Paul.
Yeah.
Paul. So Tom Woods, he has the podcast where, he actually, I guess, if you listen to his podcast on a regular, if you do something, subscribe to him or something like that, you have this Ron Paul curriculum. So to where, as a parent, you wouldn't have to sit there and teach them. They're able, if you trust in the curriculum that's being taught, then you let the curriculum do the work, and they can still be homeschooled, just maybe not by you. And you could still have your input, like you could still come in and pop your head in, or whatever, and give your take on and help your child with what they're learning. Or if you want, people, I guess at that point it would become a private school, but people could group together and learn a curriculum, a homeschool curriculum that everyone agrees with. But like you can, that you wouldn't have to. There's programs out there where you don't have to sit there in front of your child and teach. Yeah. It's just an alternative to the public school, or maybe the private schools in the area, or you don't want to pay the price of a private school in the area. And you can have them, learn that curriculum. Let
me ask you something. If you have a son or a daughter, what are your main plans to, like, if you're at where you want to be at by the time you have kids? What are you thinking, like, school wise? Are you sending public school?
Probably not public school. So as I've gotten older, I've gotten more into history. Okay. So Tom Woods is actually a historian.
Tom Woods.
He's actually a historian. So I listen to some of his stuff to just help educate me about history. And from my understanding, the way history books are written in public schools, they're doing a disservice to understanding of history. Now, granted, you're trying to teach kids history. I know I didn't give a fuck about history when I was.
Oh yeah.
It just was not something that interested me. Now that I got older, that's changed. But you to answer your question, like, what would I want to do? I would want to do probably not public school. Definitely not public school. I would want to do homeschool.
Homeschool?
I think I would want to do homeschool because I would want, like I said, I always like to teach.
Yeah.
And teaching my kids would be a great thing to do. Now, the problem with homeschooling, obviously, is having the time to do it.
Yeah.
But you asked me if I was where I want to be, and I'm making a lot of passive income, whatever, that would be what I would want to do. I would want to sit there with my child and spend that time with him, because if I'm not raising him, who's raising him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sending him to school for 8 hours a day. I'm gone 8 hours a day. I only see him in the evening for him or her in the evening for a couple of hours. I want a little bit more time with my child to help raise them the way I know to be best. Versus the student. Versus the teacher or wherever they're going. And the surprising thing that I learned since I've been teaching full time is I've met a couple people who've taught in the private school world, and they say they actually like public schools more, and that was surprising to hear. But I think I put two and two together. They say that public schools pay more, and private schools sometimes don't have their shit together.
Okay.
But I think that's because there's such a big monopoly on schools. You have to keep costs to a bare minimum to where you can't really keep key players. Because part of owning a business or running a business is being able to keep good people. But if you can't offer competitive wages, it's going to be a revolving door, and it makes your system, fucked up. So I think that's part of it. So going back to that school choice, I think if the school choice gets implemented or starts becoming a bigger thing, it's going to open the market for those private schools to start competing a little bit more. And being able, because if more people are going private in homeschool, that means there's less tax dollars going to public schools, less salaries gets reduced. There, money goes to where people want it to go. So salary starts moving up.
Do you think they would maybe find, not a loophole exactly, but let's just say if people wanted to, let's just say the upper class people wanted to mess with the lower class people, because you know how to pay taxes, and taxes does end up in public schools. If they had the school choice and they wanted to send their kids to only private schools, public schools would have less money funded, and they would just totally like crash public school.
Yeah,
that would be a possibility, though, right?
That's what I would think. Yeah. That would help the market to determine who's best.
Yeah.
Because right now with it being free, it's easy to send your kids there. That's not an expense that you have to really worry about.
Yeah.
But with school choice, now granted, it'll take time because people still don't have money. Even if they are getting, I don't know why $800 keeps on coming up in my mind, but I feel like that's a reasonable amount of money. Let's say $800 doesn't cover the cost of the private school. They may choose to keep them in public school just because they don't have the extra funds to get it to where it's able to pay for the full tuition of the private school.
Yeah.
But some people may elect to do homeschool, So I think eventually it would go to that point, because eventually I would bet on the test scores of the private school and the homeschool are going to be better than the public school.
Oh yeah, because private school and homeschool, you're kind of more locked in on the academic side. Public school is like it's like a social gathering almost.
And it also depends, because certain schools are better than others. Like with me being in Henrico, I've learned that it's crazy, but the east end of Henrico, the schools are way low, compared to the West End. Even I just saw Douglas Freeman, I think Deep Run and Godwin, or
Yeah.
maybe or Douglas, Douglas Freeman, I think Godwin and maybe Deep Run, and maybe one other school. They were like, I think in the top 100 of the nation.
Really?
If I remember
Is,
correct.
is the other one Tucker?
No, I don't think Tucker is.
Okay.
I don't think Tucker. It may have been, but I don't think it was Tucker.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's socioeconomic backgrounds kind of playing a part in that, but it's also about family values and what people, what they determine to be important.
Yeah.
But I think that would, like I said, I think that would help with that market, with leveling the playing field. So like I was saying, with me teaching, I've learned that a lot of it is dog and pony show, because they have to prove that the tax dollars are doing something worthwhile.
Yeah.
So, people have their opinions about SOL testing. Luckily, I don't have to do anything with that because I'm a trades teacher. I don't teach the core classes, but and then IEPs, and it just gets to be a lot, but it's all because this is multiple people's money that are tied into this, so they in a sense have a say of what goes on.
Yeah.
But you're trying to carry yourself as the government, as the end all be all in a sense, and that's the rub. So they have to try to make things look good. Like, even this shit blew my mind when I started last year. 64 or 63 is still a F.
Yeah.
Right? But if a kid gets below a 55, say they don't try in a class, say they get a 22 F for the year.
Yeah.
They have this policy where they take that 22 and turn it to a 55.
Automatically?
Essentially.
Yeah.
It's like a policy. It's almost like that No Child Left Behind bullshit.
Uh-huh.
But, and I was telling the lady that I was talking to you about, that I was talking to, that I work with, that's not teaching the kids true consequences of your actions.
Yeah.
That's not teaching them anything. That's passing them along because your numbers don't look right.
But maybe they're kids, right? Don't you think maybe they don't want to put all that, because if you really think about it, the consequence won't really end up too much on the kid. It would also impact the parents a lot more.
It's true.
But
if the policy is the policy, the parents are just gonna go with it.
I think that's more where college kicks in, where like you're an adult, your academics is like you don't try, you out. But I feel like with schools is like kind of like juvie, they'll be lenient on them, I guess.
Yeah, and I get, I understand, kids are kids. I was a kid once. You still learning. You think, you become a teenager and you start understanding things more, but you don't have the understanding of an adult.
Yeah.
Yet. Not yet. So I understand, like, being lenient, but you still, at that point, you still have to allow them to learn from their mistakes. You can't, because you set the precedent. It's just like, what is it? I think in the Bible it says something like, raise your kids, as you, shit, I'm gonna fuck it up. But it's just, you got to teach them that responsibility.
Yeah.
You got to teach them that responsibility, and not just passing them along.
But let me ask you something, right? Do you think maybe they would learn consequences of maybe them not trying or failing and stuff like that if they were at homeschool?
So, the thing about it is, that's the thing. If you introduce more competition, you're going to be competing for people's money, right?
Yeah.
That's what electricians do, right? We're competing we're trying to give the best service for the lowest price.
Yeah.
Right. That's what business is about. Give the best service for the lowest price. Or for the best price. I'm not gonna say the lowest price. For the best price. Best service for the best price. Right? When you introduce other players into the pool, it forces people to have to truly compete with results.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's test scores, that's satisfaction, that's their how they feel about the school or the class. Is a lot of factors. So the way that things are taught now may not be the way that things are taught in public school may not be the way they'll be taught in private school or at home. Definitely at home, right? The curriculum. You can write your own curriculum, right? You can kind of do what you want in a sense. Now I think the government still like has their hand in the policy of what is constituted as a recognizable curriculum to be considered someone who is actually in sixth grade, right?
Yeah,
like say I decide I'm Joe Schmo dad, and I got my son here, and I say, hey, look, son, I'm gonna teach you something today. Let's go to the store, right? And I don't really teach him much, right? But I say that's my lesson, and I do lessons like that, for 6 years, and he's now in sixth grade, and he's not on par with other sixth graders.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think the government they have some type of like broad but still maybe restrictive policy on what constitute as a recognizable curriculum, even if they are being homeschooled. But I'm saying going back to what I was saying, like the schools, they would compete, and those scores may change because learning, and I've learned this. I was a good student in high school only because I remembered content. I didn't learn the shit.
Like photographic memory?
I guess photographic, whatever.
Yeah.
And I listened to Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's someone else I like listening to or watching. True learning is the want to learn.
Yeah.
Because when you want to learn, you will learn.
And it doesn't even feel like forceful. Or
it don't feel forceful.
It don't feel like learning either.
Right. It don't feel like learning because you're sparking your interest.
Yeah.
And if you can culture an environment where you're getting students to want to learn, it becomes way easier and you can excel them very fast.
Oh, yeah.
But when you sit them in a classroom and you beat them to death with content, and you beat them to death because you're trying to get this SOL, you're naturally going to get those kids like, fuck this.
Do you think they're trying to set them up for like normal 9-to-5 office jobs, set them all in a place for 8 hours?
That's another argument. So
and have them do work all day?
That's
even
a
if they don't
whole
want
other
to?
argument. Yes. They have heard this, the stories, that school was designed to make employees.
Yeah.
And finding myself in this position as a teacher now, I wrestle with it. See, I actually, to be honest with you, I like teaching adults more.
Okay.
I like teaching y'all more because y'all are coming, y'all know exactly what y'all want, and I'm there to give it to you.
Yeah.
Kids don't know what they want. And then I'm there not just as a teacher. I'm there as, like I just said, a babysitter. I'm there as a role model.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of responsibility, and you're trying to put on all those hats when really, as a teacher, it's great. Don't get me wrong. Like being someone that a kid looks up to and they come to you, like it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
But it's one of those situations where, like, am I setting them up for failure when I'm telling them, like, this is what it's going to take to get hired? Like, those thoughts have come to my mind. Now, this year, I will say, the ACE Center, they hired an entrepreneurship teacher, which is good to help the kids start thinking entrepreneurially, if that's even a word, entrepreneurially.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so I like that idea, but yeah, it's like to what you were saying, kids being like, it's the same shit with like, college.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that topic up too.
Whew, man. So going back to my story, my personal story, I told you I got good grades in high school.
Yeah.
You know, I graduated with 3.44. Everyone thought I was going to college, especially like in my family. Like, I got a pretty big family.
Does college run in the family typically, or in your family, or
Fuck no.
would you have been like one of the first?
My mom went to college. She went to Stony Brook in New York.
Okay.
Come to find out, I think she needed like 1 or 2 more classes to actually say that she got a degree.
Really?
And then she went to ECPI down here, but I think she might have completed that degree, but money issues. So like with college, if you don't pay the money, sometimes they won't give you the degree.
Huh.
So I might have that detail a little bit off, but yeah, my family, no. My aunt, she went to college. She actually just finished college. She's in her 50s, but college, no, hell no. College is not a big thing in my family.
Yeah.
But like people my age, like my cousins and stuff, everyone kind of looked at me like I was gonna be the one to go to college. All of them, it was not a big expectation for them to go to college, right? But the one thing I knew, going back to money, I knew I didn't like that. I didn't like owing nobody.
Yep.
And my mother, you know, she stayed on me as a kid to do my work and get good grades. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt like disappointed or like abandoned. Not abandoned, but very disappointed that my mom, like, she pushed me all them years to do all this work. And then she said, I'm not putting my name on none of them loans. I'm like, well, shit. Like, it was like
a dead end almost?
It was, yeah. It was like, I think it was like May, the very end of my senior year. And I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I had applied for Norfolk State University. I actually got accepted. I always claim that whenever I'm around people who like are educated and shit. I was like, well, I got accepted. You know?
Yeah.
It's just a little joke, but
that's a good college.
I don't know. My girl went there.
Okay.
She went there. I don't know. I don't know. I think it is. I think when I was applying, they were unaccredited. It's a HBCU.
Okay, that's a historically black college, right?
Or university, yeah. I think when I applied for them, they were unaccredited. But yeah, I applied but I'm pretty sure they're accredited now. But so, you know, and I didn't have anybody like coaching me on the whole college thing.
Yeah.
Like, as far as like scholarships, because I was poor. Like, I was poor as a teenager. So I ain't have no money. You know, I ain't have shit. And like I said, nobody was coaching me. So when it came time to apply, I applied there, and it was this one other school that I wanted to apply to because I wanted to become a producer.
Okay.
A music producer. And it was a school called Full Sail University in Florida. And they're like, I guess, world renowned for like having some of the best like music programs and shit like that. But they were like $50,000 a year, which would have been put me at $200,000
for a degree.
Yeah. And I was like, well, there's no fucking way I'm doing that. Yeah. And I was like, I want to become a producer. And I was like, if I really want to become a producer, I shouldn't have to go to school to make music. That's just something I do on my own. Yeah. I realized that they was teaching me about sound and how sound works. I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I just took the long route. That's why I started working at Walmart because, you know, actually after high school, I went to New York. I used to go to New York every summer and just spend time up there with my family and friends up there. And I was trying to get a job up there.
Yeah.
Didn't get a job. And I was applying, boy. I was applying to some shit. A lot of places. And nobody hired me.
Damn.
Nobody hired me. And I had to come back down here in September for my license because I don't know if they still do it, but back then they used to make you go to court to get your license.
No, they don't do that no more.
Yeah, so I had to go to court to get my license. And so that basically, like, brought me back down here. And then I got a job at Kohl's, like I said. And took the long route. And, you know, to this day, I'm thankful that I did not go to college because I would be in debt. And, you know, that whole college experience that people talk about, like my girl, she actually, she lived that college life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes I wish I would have experienced college life just because people, they love the experience of college. Like coming of age, you know, after you get out of high school, you're out of your parents' house and you got a little bit of independence and, you know, you young, dumb, full of cum, you know. I would have loved that experience, but I like not having that more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as much as I would have loved to experience that, I like not having that. And I'm glad I did not make that decision because everyone expected me to. And, you know, when you're young, at least in my situation, you know, you want to listen to your elders because you think they have the right words for you or the right path for you to go down. But like I said, I didn't go that way. And I'm making, you know, a decent salary. Not what I want to be making, but a decent salary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm making a decent salary. And some people that I've gone to school with, they went to college and they ain't doing much better than me.
Yeah. You know
what I mean?
how you said how your elders, they tend to, like you said, you would think they would know better. You know, my parents actually are like the, you know, you should go to college people. I was like the one that kind of, I guess I've always been like rebellious. Is that the right word? Mm-hmm. So I'm the middle child of my family. So I always think outside of the box I was put into. So I was the one that was like, nah, I'm not going to college, right? I always had in the back of my head that I wasn't going to college ever since I was a freshman. I was like, look, this is how I saw it. And then, you know, I was like, look, everybody goes to college 4 years. I start working and get real life experience from now. By the time they come out of college, I'll already be way ahead of them, right? That's how I saw it. And, you know, I mean, I always knew it was going to be like, you can't have both. You can have one or the other. So I always knew, like, you know, there's times where, like, damn, I should have. Do I regret not going to college? And I think about it, too. I'm like, I'm sure in the future, I'll know I made the right choice for what I wanted. But it's like, also, like, college, you could get that same experience without going to college. Because in reality, college is just another school. You get a bunch of people gathered, a social gathering in one place. You can do that at a club. You can do that at a mall. Mm-hmm. So it's like you don't have to go to college to experience that. Mm-hmm. It just feels like
it's an expensive party. Yeah.
And you know what's one thing that gets me thinking is like when you have that many people gathered into a building, I'm not saying you're forced to talk to them, but it's like the fact that you see them every day is a repetitive thing. You're more likely to engage with them. Same like if I see somebody, if I'm walking through a mall, it's a one-time social gathering, right? If that makes any sense.
No, I know what you're saying.
I'll walk past this person completely. I didn't even see him, never see him again. Doesn't bother me, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's a school, let's say if I go to that, everybody goes to the mall every day. Eventually, I'll be like, "Oh, yo, what's up?" Or I start talking to him. It's like I might even like start liking to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or a friend, but it's like.
You're friends because of proximity.
Yeah. So I feel like, and what it's like almost like with this podcast. If I get somebody that I've never talked to, I'm like, hey, do you want to come talk on the podcast? So we're here in this proximity. We're having a good conversation. If it's like outside of this room and the proximity, some people may not even want to talk to me. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I noticed. But it's like that's how I see college. It's like almost like not forcefulness, but it's just that. It's a different energy in the school wise.
So going back to what we were talking about with homeschool, it makes me think about, you know, how the argument is sociability.
Yeah.
Let's say sociable issues are not a problem. Say they're very sociable, but being that they spend a lot more time alone and they can be social, they may have a better friend choosing aptitude than someone who's in public school.
Yeah.
Because you're entrenched around a whole bunch of people, and because you are in high school with a bunch of people, you may think, well, there's got to be somebody here that I like, or I like this person. But when you're at home in homeschool, let's say you're in a situation where you're just being taught by your parents, and you're not socially awkward, right?
Yeah,
Let's take that out. You may be able to choose friends better.
You know, I see where you're coming from, but let me tell you why I may disagree.
No, it's two sides to it. It definitely could happen in both ways.
Because if you're homeschooled, you're not too used to. You don't see too many different people every day. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what. You don't see like this person's a good person, this person's a bad person. But if you go to public school, you're like, all right, yeah, I know who I don't really want to hang around. This people like this, people like that, and then you pick from experience. Like, okay, I know he's not like this type of group of people. But if you're homeschooled, you may fall for the first person you see. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
You won't have anything to compare it to.
Right. You don't have, but I guess I should have said they aren't socially awkward, but they still get social time.
Okay, yeah.
Like I talked about, the parent still takes them, to the whatever.
Gatherings, soccer,
gatherings,
stuff like that.
The family cookouts and all the shit. They're not, but they learn they're not socially awkward, but being that they don't have any constant contact with the same people, they go in these different environments and see different people, meet different people. Because who's to say that this parent is not taking them to all the science conferences, the science fairs, meeting all these different people, history, whatever all these different educational type trips that the parent may be taking them on, but they're not seeing the same people. They may be able to choose friends better.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so I guess to wrap that part up, like, I was just happy that I did not go to college.
Yeah, I get you.
I was happy I did not go to college.
You know how we're talking about how public schools are monopoly? Don't you think colleges are too?
College is fucked. College you used to be able to pay for college while you were in college. Like, you used to be able to get like a little job, pay your tuition as you were in college, and by the time you got out of college, you ain't have no debt. But what happened was the government started to guarantee or back the kids. It was some shit they did in, was it the 60s? And because they got guaranteed, the colleges was like, wait, so the government is gonna pay?
Yeah.
So we could run this motherfucker up.
Almost like insurance, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes
Health
sense.
insurance, yeah. I was charging $1,000. Now I could charge $5.
Yeah.
Shit, why not 10?
Like,
so college is one of the most not appreciating, but yeah, I guess appreciating prices.
Like pharmaceuticals?
College is outrageous with prices.
Yeah.
But if they take that government guarantee away, their prices are going to have to come down because ain't nobody going to pay it.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody going to pay it.
But this is the thing too, though. I think if you make under a certain amount of money, you can't apply for that same benefit. Like, I would say after like COVID, inflation, everything, middle class is kind of crushed because even middle class people can't. I think if you're higher middle class, you can't even meet the requirements to get those loans.
Well, yeah, those loans. There may be some grants out there or some scholarships that you may be able to tap into. But yeah, when you're talking about the government, FAFSA, federal aid, it's all types of income requirements. Like, I know. I just wish I knew. I think I did do FAFSA, or I had started it. But like I said, I had nobody in my corner. And when you're a kid, if you don't have nobody telling you this shit, you're not gonna know. Especially at that time, Because the resources, there's no TikTok back then.
Yeah.
Because you could find a TikTok on any fucking thing. You could find a YouTube video on anything. You had to have somebody who knew that was there telling you.
Yeah.
Right? You couldn't. There was no outlet to just find the shit. You know, and even, we had Google back then, but you know, I didn't think to Google anything. But even if I did, I don't know how much would have came up.
You think maybe the government is like worried, or that's why they want to take away TikTok, because people can have all that like knowledge and outside of the box experience of thinking into your phone, and then people are starting to be smarter and thinking outside of the norm that they put them in. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you could say that, you could think that, but you could have said the same thing for Google.
Yeah.
You could have said the same thing for YouTube. I think TikTok, the reason why it's gotten, you know, that type of attention is because TikTok, I think, is owned by a Chinese company.
Yeah.
It's owned by a Chinese company, and Chinese, they use technologies, you know, spying technologies that American companies, I guess, can't use or forbade, you know, against using. So that's the from my understanding, that's the problem, is they have the capacity to monitor you in a different type of way. Or, well, other companies, American companies, monitor you too, but
I was about to say that.
I think it's it being in the hands of China is the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the issue, and that's the worry. But no, I mean, information is information. It betters your life to know more. Going back to the economy, as things get more efficient, like I say this all the time. If I was the first person to make shoes, right?
Yeah.
I could charge a certain price, and then let's say I do it for 5 years before the next person comes in and realizes, man, I could come in here and make shoes and sell it for a little bit cheaper. And then as time goes on, more and more people make shoes, and then someone realizes, well, shit, we're making shoes. We could start hanging. We could make a longer string,
Yeah,
from the shoestrings, and make a clothesline. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And as time goes on, these different inventions start making life easier, faster, more efficient. That's what we come to. That, I mean, we're in 2023. When I was 20 years ago, like I said, none of this shit was here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, none of this was here. And think about 100 years ago. Think about 200 years ago. Things have just quickly. Yeah. And imagine what it would be in 20 years.
Yeah, because even if you think about it, last 20 years. 20 years ago, we had the first iPhone. First little iPhone that, you know what I'm saying, it was like, you could
First
really...
MP3 player.
Yeah.
iPods.
And, let me get your thoughts on something. Do you think maybe they already have maybe like the next 20 years of technology ready, I'd say like vaulted, and they'll it's kind of like almost like release dates, push it out over time. That way they could profit off of it, and people could get evolved into the advancement over time.
So this is my thoughts on it. I know I looked at a video. This is something else I like looking at every now and then. It's called the Soho Forum.
I think I've heard of that.
And it's Soho is a place or area in New York City.
Oh, in New York City, okay.
And in Manhattan, I think specifically. And they have debates.
Okay.
And one of the debates was patents or no patents. So to answer your question, what happens a lot of times is people come up with new technologies. Big companies come by the patent, squash it. They don't put it out. Like, I remember,
that makes sense.
I heard there was a car or a vehicle that could run off of. It may have been
water.
It may have been water.
Yeah, it's water.
Yeah. And I think somebody bought it and just squashed it, because that brings the oil industry to a halt.
Yep. They killed a guy that invented that?
They killed him?
Yeah.
I believe it. I mean, shit happens, man. And it's sad because people see, people get so tied to their salaries and the money that they're making that they don't see the greater good. Like, you can make money. Yeah, your shit is gonna be affected now. Just like I was talking about with the school, like people are digging their heels in with school choice because the higher ups in the counties and in the municipalities, they making a lot of money in the school board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The superintendents, that shit is gonna go down if they allow that a freer market to start taking place.
Yeah.
With the car, yeah, your salary and your bank is gonna be affected, but that's gonna allow for you to just invest in something else.
True.
But you know,
They don't want that.
They don't want that. You know, you start making money the way you make money, people don't want to change that easy. You know, they don't want to have to change up. But that's part of like an economy. Like,
Yeah.
finding a niche, finding a way to make money is a new way to make money is part of the economy. Because if something goes down, think about, we talking about technology, Polaroid. We're just talking about Polaroids. Yeah. Kodak is not in business anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Blockbuster is not in business anymore.
Yep.
You know. But if you follow the trends and see what's going on, you can capitalize off of what's next, what's new to come.
Yeah.
But some people dig their heels into what the status quo is, and that's how you get lobbyists. They pay the presidents and the congressmen to keep things the way they are, so that new technologies and new business ventures, new business people can't get in to change the market up.
Yeah.
And that's something else Peter Schiff was talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast. I was talking about.
I'm gonna watch that.
The minimum wage.
$7.25 still, right?
No, hell no, not in Virginia. It's
but
it's
nationally
right
though, right?
I think nationally, it's still $7.25. But in Virginia, it's 12 right now, but it's supposed to. They already passed a law that it's supposed to go up to 15.
But people, that's one thing that I always just think like, oh yeah, they should raise the minimum wage. But when normal people, like people that aren't informed, don't realize that's just making inflation worse.
It's what it's doing is you could take inflation out of it, because inflation, let's keep that issue stand alone. Say there is no inflation. If you make the minimum wage, or if you make a minimum wage period, but let's say you make a minimum, change it from 7.25 to 15, what that's doing is any jobs that were less than 15, either the employers are going to eliminate that job and make someone else do that job, or they may bring that person up to 15, but if there was two people at that position, they may let the other person go. They'll have to raise their prices.
Yeah.
So you don't get something for nothing. You got people that's going to lose their jobs. You know, that job is worth, $9 an hour to that business. It's worth $9 an hour to that business. So you're going to force them to pay 15. And what happens is you got these people that are making $15 an hour when they were making $7.25.
Yep.
And you got someone that's making $25 an hour who is way more skilled, and they now are, they didn't double their pay, but the person that's making $25 an hour didn't.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that's why maybe businesses are starting to maybe replace some workers with AI and robots to fight the expenses?
Yeah, because humans, we're the engine that make all this thing go.
Yeah.
Right? We're the ones that's making it happen. A business would pay someone to do it if it's worth it.
Yeah.
But because you got to think, if they go to AI and robots and all that stuff, that still costs money.
Oh yeah.
They still got to pay someone. Yeah, they don't have a human sitting there paying them on the clock, but they still got to pay to keep the updates on the AI, the maintenance of the equipment. They got to have the expertise. They got to pay the person that knows how to fix that. And that's going to cost a lot of money to pay them to know how to fix it. So they got to work that into their cost. So if it was their choice, they probably would stick with the person. But being that the government is forcing wages up, and they don't see any a let up on that. Well, we're just gonna go in this direction. It may not be what we want to do, but they're forcing our hand to do it.
I would say I mean that's just capitalism right there. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm a capitalist because I really think it's almost like a kill or be killed type of world. You know what I'm saying? I feel like capitalism is like very straightforward to reality, and it's not like a sugarcoating. Like, oh yeah, we can all make a decent amount of money. I always say this to my mom, right? Because I have talks with her about stuff like this. I'm like, in the world, in order for it to be bad, there has to be good. In order for it to be good, there has to be bad. Rich, same with rich. In order for it to be poor, there has to be rich. Not everybody can have an equal amount. That's what makes, different people valuable in companies, same with everything.
It's a dichotomy of life. I mean, you could be poor and then work your way to be rich.
You can. And that's the beauty of capitalism.
That's the beauty of life, right?
Yeah.
The beauty of life is being down on your luck, like I was just talking about, and then doing something about it. Beauty of life is like the book that I was listening to. The guy, he got sold into slavery, and he got sold into slavery because he he owed a lot of people money.
Uh-huh.
And he got put in slavery. The master's wife actually set him free.
Okay.
And then he wound up going back and paying people off that he owed, and he felt better. He felt good about himself. That's actually the last chapter that I kind of just listened to. But that's the beauty of life.
Is that the
richest man in Babylon?
Okay.
But you can't. I don't agree with the socialism because it's inefficient.
Yeah,
it's inefficient. We're all different. People have different values. Some people and I remember I had this big debate with my cousin. It was a big debate. It was bad.
It's always a debate with the cousins.
And I was like, yo, all I wanted, I don't want to have to do all this. I don't want to have to teach in the evening and during the day.
Yeah.
And have to DJ and do side work. I don't have to do all that. I don't want to have to do all that. But I'm kind of forced to. I would love to just be able to have a job and just live life the quiet way. But my hand is being forced because of the realities of the situation that we're in America.
Yeah, you know how you say you're forced? That's a good way. It's a good that you see it that way, that forced. Because really, you're not forced. But you're forced. You feel forced because you want a certain life or you want to be in a certain position. But that's why they have homeless people. They're not forced. They realize that. But they know what they have to live with.
Yeah. So, like, I would rather just, so, going back to inflation.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, when I was a kid, it was like this innate thing that, and I look back on it, prices are actually supposed to go down. So going back to the shoe thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm the first guy that has shoes, and I'm selling them, say, $50 a pair. You come in, you figure out how to make it 5 years later. You're going to undercut me. That's going to force my price to either it's one or two things can happen. I could keep my $50 price. I've been in the business longer. I understand the pitfalls of the business a little bit more than you because you're newer.
Yeah.
So I may be able to keep my $50 price, but you may take a little bit of market share from me.
Yeah.
Right? But let's say 10 more people come in and they keep on undercutting you and so forth and so on. I may have to bring my price down.
Yeah.
So therefore, prices come down because of competition, right? The reason why prices go up is because of inflation. So I think as a kid, I think I innately knew and didn't even think about it that prices are supposed to come down. So if you save your money, you'll be able to buy more in the future than you can buy now. But in today's time, saving definitely in the bank ain't going to do shit for you, right? So saving doesn't do anything for you. So you're sitting there losing money, So you have to figure out something to do with your money to be able to make money, so that you're not sitting there letting your money lose value. So, like, going back to what we was talking about with me being forced, I'm forced to kind of do what I'm doing now because I have to try to compete with the rate of inflation by making more money, because I know my rent is going to go up next cycle. Next lease is going to go up. My rent is going to go up, and just having my money sitting in the bank ain't going to do nothing for me. Yeah. So I have to work to make more money to be able to put it in something that will make me money when inflation goes haywire and it really hits the fan. So it's one of those things. I don't want to have to be like running. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to do this, but I kind of have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the system that's in place. If you gotta do something about it or not, and that this is how I see it, right? I've always told, like I said, I had talks like this with my mom. I told her, like, people pick their almost like their consequences, right? Because I mean, I'm sure if you go down that route, you're working for a better life, but your consequence would be having to work. People that don't choose to play the system, they sacrifice having a stable life, but they don't have to work. If that makes sense, you pick what you
whatever you want. There's pros and cons to every choice. Pros and cons to every choice. You choose not to work. You ain't gotta go to fucking work.
Yeah.
But you ain't gonna have no damn money either.
That's the consequence.
That's the beauty of life. You get to choose what you want to do. That's why socialism doesn't work. But when Bernie Sanders ran for president in 2016, I actually voted for him, but I didn't know. He was talking about free college and all this shit, and I never even went to college. But I was like, shit, that sounds like a good idea. Get these people out of debt. You know? But I didn't know anything, or not enough. I wound up finding out that's not good.
Yeah.
Like you can't. The money that it takes to pay for that would be way more than what you would get from taxpayers. So you're going to wind up supplementing the cost of that with new money, inflation.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm definitely for capitalism. People, being from New York is very fast paced.
Oh yeah.
Very fast paced. Capitalists up there all day, every day, right? People up there trying to make money. That's New York, right?
Yeah.
So there's pros. We live in an imperfect world. We live in an imperfect world. So no matter what system you choose, it's gonna be fucked. But if you allow to everyone to have freedom to do what they want, as long as it doesn't infringe upon someone else, it's an easy choice. We're in a perfect world, so you trying to eliminate certain pitfalls is going to hamstring someone from doing what they may not consider to be a pitfall.
Yeah.
Or not consider to be a big pitfall, right? So freedom is the way to go. That's I definitely lean towards libertarian.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Different, and that's just only because that's the principles behind it. It's not because I'm, like how Republicans and Democrats.
It's just a different perspective, right?
All it is libertarian. The biggest thing about libertarian is it's truly about freedom.
Okay.
So Democrat, they're a lot about, from my perspective, using the government to provide a lot of services. Republicans use less government, but it's hard because the parties have kind of changed the way they are over the years. But they're more fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, one thing that characterizes Republicans are like warmongers. They always want to go to war, but a lot of that shit, a lot of them at this point are kind of like, one and the same.
Yeah.
They're going in the same direction. But libertarians, there's still conflict in there from what I know. But the overarching theme of that party is take government out, like to bare bones, because there's so much inefficiency in the government. So, oh my gosh, listen, I told you I worked for the city of Richmond for almost 3 years, and I'm about to come up on a year in Henrico County. Government inefficiency. The private companies use money way more efficient because they're trying to make a profit.
Oh yeah.
There is no profit incentive with government. There's none. So it's all on the whim of who's in charge.
Yeah.
And like it's all about making things look good for the public because other people's money are tied into this. But that's inefficient because it becomes, in a sense, socialistic because everyone has to have a say in what's going on versus someone just doing what they want to do with their own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I lean towards is libertarianism. It's just freedom of the human. It's the focus should be on the individual, not on
as a whole.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's supposed that's the whole point of it is to allow personal freedom. Going back to what we were saying,
Yeah.
a homeless man, he could be homeless. Let him be homeless.
Yeah.
As long as he's not bothering anybody,
Yeah.
he's fine. Or he's not on anybody's property, right? He's fine.
Yeah.
But that's hard for people to wrestle with sometimes.
I don't want to hold you here too late. I know it's a weekday. Just to end it off, what's maybe like the biggest lesson you've learned in life so far? Maybe something you would tell your kid.
The crazy thing is, I grew up in church, and I kind of went away from it. But as I'm getting older, man, that shit just ring true. Like that shit ring true to the stuff in the Bible. And I've even struggled with like believing, and I still struggle with it, like believing and knowing truly that Jesus was here. And maybe it's just because I haven't gotten to the point where I've looked at enough literature or enough history on him as the historical figure versus just this biblical figure that's kind of can seem like fairy tale-ish.
Yeah.
But if you even taking that out of it, like just the principles in the Bible, just reconciling with that and realizing how tried and true they are.
And they correlate really well to real life too, right?
Yes. Yes. It's a lot of concepts and principles in the Bible that when you play it out, when you live it, it's
almost a guidance to life, right?
Yeah, I've heard the letters Bible. I've heard from actually someone who's passed away now. The basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say like that's where I'm at right now is trying to. As far as my biggest lesson, yeah, I sticking to principles, even when you know it's hard.
Yeah.
Even when it's hard, it's tough. Like even as I'm listening to Richest Man in Babylon, a lot of where life's ills come from is just us not sticking to what we know we need to do. We run away from it.
That makes sense.
But that's probably my number one lesson.
That's a good lesson too.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we're gonna end it here. It was a really good talk though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I know you could probably go on way more
on for some shit.
Yeah,
boy.
we could always do a second part though.
Yeah, we could do another one.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
I think that's where we're gonna cut it, guys.
That's fine with me.
Later.
Over. Over and out.
That was good.
It was.
That was a good conversation.